Welcome everybody to the third episode of Channel 13. I'm your host, Marcus V. Brown. Today we got a guest with us, Christopher Holmes. How you doing, Chris?
Oh man, I'm chilling. It's all good in the hood.
13.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
13.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about yourself, your name and what you do, who you are, and all that kind of thing.
So I'm comedian Chris Holmes, singer, songwriter, poet, tell jokes. Used to hang out with my boy, 13th disciple, aka Marcus Brown. We used to dance. You know what I'm saying? He thought he could dance better than me, but actually he could dance better than me, but I was mustard than him. So he could outdance me. He could outdance me, but I was a lot more mustard than Marcus. So I'm gonna take the mustard mic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just over here in South Carolina, man, just chilling. You know what I'm saying? You know, just I'm still dancing, but I done changed partners. So now I'm dancing for the Lord. Yeah. What's happening?
Right. Yeah, we was gonna get into some of that because we do go back a while. We go back a while, and I don't think I can outdance you. I don't think I guarantee I can outstiff you now. I'm stiffer than you now.
Oh no, you ain't stiffer than me, brother. My leg, my left knee locked up on me in Walmart the other day, and I was in the middle of the frozen food aisle twerking. So I guarantee you, hey, Marcus, I guarantee you that your leg ain't stiffer than mine. I guarantee you that.
I ain't finna sit up here and argue about who got the stiffest leg because I bent my leg backwards when I was 34 years old playing basketball, and I ain't been right since then. But
you okay? Well, you probably got it. You probably got me there, bro. You probably got me.
But I did play in a 40-up league. Look, when I was in my 40s, I did play in a 40-up basketball league one year, and I said I'd never do it again. Look, it's kind of funny. Look, we both wearing our glasses. We were some suave young men back in the day, wasn't
it? Yeah. But now we some blind men. We got to put them on. Blind men. Hey, Marcus, you can't see how thick these glasses is. Hey, Marcus, I can look at a map and see folks waving with me.
Look, I can see how thick they are. I can see how thick they are.
I can look at a map. Hey, Marcus, I can look at a map and see folks waving.
Listen,
hey, I can start a fire with these glasses, Marcus.
listen. Look. Let's go because I know you more. I know you beyond just being a comedian. But I want the and you know I'm a comedian too. So a lot of people don't realize
that's right.
And some people think that we just started trying to be funny. We always had a funny bone about that.
Exactly.
But it's a lot of layers to you, Chris. A lot of layers to me. So, but I want to introduce yourself just like you did. And you say you're in South Carolina. What part of South Carolina are you in?
I'm in Charleston.
Oh man, I
got South Carolina.
I got a guy used to be our music minister music. I think he lived in Charleston, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think he's a pastor of a church down there, Pastor Carl Bright. I know he's singing all he play. I think they're in the Charleston area if they're not in Charleston. But that's a nice place down there, huh?
Oh yeah, I love it, man. Plenty of good food and stuff like that. You know, plenty of things to do. So yeah, I love it.
All right.
I love it.
Tell us a little bit about where you come from, what you do, what city, just tell us a little bit. We want to kind of know you before we start asking you some questions. I know you. We want the audience to know you a little bit better.
But yeah, man, I'm from Montgomery, and you know, I was led here to Charleston, man, in 2021. I lost my 17-year-old daughter in a domestic violence incident, and actually, me and my now ex-wife, we were separated at the time, but when I found out about my daughter, that she passed away from a domestic violence incident, she was the first person I called, so technically we were still married. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, God let me to, put things behind, man, and I reunited with my wife and got my daughter buried and went through all of that and ended up moving here, and the marriage still didn't work out. But how many of us know that God still has a plan for our life? But yeah, man, I'm born and raised in Montgomery, man, but I do believe that God has a plan for all of our lives. We don't always know what that plan is or look like, but guess what? It ain't always for us to know. You know what I'm saying? That's only for God to know. And like I said, moved here, man. God knew what I needed when I needed it, especially after I lost my daughter. And Marcus, I still keep up with what's going on in Montgomery, but as we know, it's so many people being killed there in my hometown, man, and it's sad and I hate it, but I try to still do what I can from afar, and I come in, in town and do certain things as I'm led to do it. God put certain things on my heart, and I'll come and share with people or whatever. And then I
didn't even know you had moved to South Carolina until like a couple of weeks ago when I was asking you, because what we do comedy shows, and I have to tell you about my stuff later, but I wanted you to be able to come to one of them. That's what I really wanted you to do, and I was going to share with you my vision about that. But I was going to share with you my vision about what I was doing there. But that's when I found out you were not here. I found out you was in South Carolina.
Right.
Yeah. But look, we go back a long ways, man. when we used to work with Sammy.
Yeah, I used to work with Sammy. Sammy's still around here, man. When 3-piece suit with cowboy boots. He's still around.
Let's don't do Sammy. Let's do. Yeah, he is though.
Sammy's my boy, man. That's my mentor.
Yeah, Sam. I have some good memories of dealing with Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy helped me get my myself together, man, artistically. You know what I'm saying? And it helped me discover what I need to be doing, as an artist. Because I went from dancing to singing and all type of stuff. Who is here walking over here to my car?
But somebody coming up to you. I got to watch that.
Yeah. Look, don't worry, I'm watching.
But you did answer a couple questions I was going to ask, because I was going to ask you about where you're married. I was going to ask you where you're married, and you already answered that in your introduction. You were saying that you weren't married any longer. And that got to be tough. I've been married, man, for 32 years. I've been married 32 years.
That's a blessing, brother, to get it right the first time.
Well, it takes some working to get it right. I mean, but it's been good. My testimony it's been good. It's been good. It's been more straight roads than curved roads. We haven't had some of the issues that other people have had. God has blessed us. But I remember me and you, we weren't looking for no wives.
No, man, back in the day, we was doing what we did. You know what I'm saying? Having fun. We was young, man. So, wasn't looking for no wife back then. You know what I'm saying? We was out just dancing and having a good time. Man, you know what? That was clean fun back then, bro. Just going to a club and just our motives weren't really clean. I ain't gonna sit there and tell, but we didn't do it. We used to go there and shut the whole place down though. Shut it down for real. Take over the whole dance floor. Hey, man, I remember us going. We was at this little spot downtown called Nero's. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember Nero. We go to Nero every 2 or 3 times a week.
Man, listen, we go in there, man, and I tell old boy, I say, hey, play, I Got the Power. Man, soon as that song come on, man, listen, me and Marcus go out there on that floor and take, man, everybody just moved out the way.
If they didn't move, they're gonna miss something, huh? Again.
Dude, we took over. Anywhere we danced at, we took over, bro. Took over. For real. That was good, clean fun, man. Wasn't nobody shooting at each other, nothing like that, man. Just good, clean fun. None of that.
Well, they did have a place that did shoot, but we didn't go to those. We had style.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we went in the hood spots. You can't
No.
you can't be in the hood spot with some MC Hammer pants on. you
Yeah,
hey, Marcus, you can't be in the hood spot with the Bobby Brown pants on. Hey,
look, but I
you
had
went
to,
in
but
the
I had to
hood.
leave. I had to leave the hood. I had to leave the hood with them on though, and come back with them on.
Hey, Marcus had to leave Ridgecrest with the Bobby Brown every little step I take pants on. Woo!
Yeah, we was up.
Yeah.
But I got saved not long after that, man. Right after that, man. I mean, it was like I disappeared, man, right from the whole scene in the church.
I know. I was looking for you, and I was like, man, what my boy Marcus at? Man, Marcus reappeared, man, talking and rapping about God. I said, well, God bless him. I ain't ready yet. I said, God bless my boy, but I'm still out here in these streets.
man,
I wasn't ready.
Look, I remember I could do everything but sing. See, that's something you could do. You could sing, man, and so that's one thing I could do.
Yeah.
I remember one time we had this performance we was doing. I don't know if the same club at Nero's. We was at Nero's, and we was doing something. And I remember the song. Thinking, what that song? I'll give you everything. What that song was? All that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's After 7.
After 7. But you was singing it. And it was me, you, and some other guy. I can't remember who it was, but I remember because we looked fly, we could dance and all that. I lip sync my part. I'm in the background lip syncing.
Yeah, I remember that. I
had to
remember
lip sync that part.
Yeah.
Remember that lady
that came out.
Yeah, and this girl that was singing this song. Remember that song "Ghetto Heaven"?
Yeah.
That girl was down there singing that. I was dancing with that girl. I remember who she was. I can't remember who that was, but I remember. I just remember a lot of that stuff. But look, we go back before just going to those places. Man, we used to work for Sammy. We used to work for Sammy.
I know. Yeah.
A lot of folks don't know nothing about. A lot of folks don't know nothing about Sammy Stevens. What he used to do back in the day, the search for the stars. If you can rap, sing, dance, or fly, that's what he said.
Fly.
If you can rap, sing, dance, or fly, come on down to the search for stars.
Search for stars, yep. Man, I forgot all about that, Marcus. I'm trying to take this hot jacket off, man.
Yeah, go ahead and take it off, man. Look, man, this thing here is conversational, man. We want people to get to know you. So now, but I remember too when we was young. I remember your sister, Laura, right?
Yep.
And she and she can sing. She was trying. You didn't know that she tried to teach me how to sing.
Laura sung. She used to sing and rap.
Yeah,
she did both of them.
Well, look, losing your sister, man. What do you remember the most about your sister, man?
Man, that she was a genuine, good, honest person. You know what I'm saying? And it was on her way to actually getting a record deal, man. And you know, I guess God had other plans. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of my artistic stuff that I do now, I think about my sister, man. You know, because she was into singing and rapping before I got into it. Matter of fact, after Laurie passed, that's what really got me into that artistic side of me, losing her. So yeah, but when I say she wasn't new to it, she was true to it. So she definitely would have got a record deal and all that. They was working on. She was in a rap group called POI Tribe, which stood for Products of Intellect, and they had gone to Birmingham and auditioned for I want to say Columbia. It was either Columbia or Arista Records, but they was actually not many people knew, but right before she died, man, they was actually getting ready to get a recording contract. They went there to audition. The people loved them, and they was kind of like a Tribe Called Quest before they really blew up. They, you know, just conscious and talking about stuff in the black community that black people was going through. You know, just a conscious group. You know what I'm saying? Not just saying anything, but having some, waking people's minds up to what was really going on in the black community.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I remember well, man. You probably didn't know that. I should talk to her. I ain't trying to talk to your sister now, but I should talk to her because that's the one thing I couldn't do. A lot of people, I can rap, dance, probably could act too. I just didn't do that. But I always was into things that like what people call art, that type of stuff. I never consider myself no kind of artist like that. I consider myself a star. Yeah. That's how I used to be.
That's right.
In my mind. But if I could sing, I probably would have just been messed up. They probably had to kill me. I probably been Bobby Brown. I'd have been crazy, man.
You feel me? You feel me? Yeah.
Yeah.
But but what I realized though too, man, is that God gives us talents, but what we do with our talents is our gift to God. So, after years of singing in clubs and I was doing stuff in clubs and in churches, man. Then over the years, it was just like, God was like, okay, I want you to come out this club scene, and I want you to come out this and come in, and I was like most people, I wasn't ready to give it up or whatever, but then, when God got his hand.
But so Chris, I thought it was something that y'all got, you had the option of doing both. I knew nothing about the church. When I first got in the church, the folks said the word of God, they said the word, I'd be like, word up. I was clueless about the whole thing about God or the Bible. I didn't grow up going to church. I ain't saying I've ever been to church, but I was clueless about how all of that worked. That's how come I think when I was able to get in the church, I was more curious to learn more about what the Bible really said and what was going on. I want to be true to what I was a part of. I want to understand it more so than just something I grew up around. And I ran into a lot of people who tried to do both and do some of everything, and those people never got their foot right. And I could see that those were the people that crashed and burned. And I tended not to be one of those people.
Right.
Go ahead. You said you was able to do both. I didn't have an option. I didn't know only just one. So, but go ahead and finish what you were saying, that you was doing both.
But no, man, like I said, I just got to a point in my life, man, where nothing I was doing artistically was fulfilling to me. So I got to a point where I was like, and this was before I really knew who God was. But I look back on it now and I'm like, that was God trying to lead me out of certain things. I just didn't know it at the time. You know what I'm saying? So when God got his hand on your life, bro, trust me, you're going to feel it and you're going to know it. You're going to feel it and you're going to know it. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to just, we all got free will to live however we choose to live. But when God got his hand on your life, man, you're going to feel it. And it ain't going to, most times it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But you know what? Uncomfortable situations work best for God, because sometimes he got to turn the heat up on you to get you to go ahead and get up out the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So
I think though that God is like what we call God have his hands on people. I think sometimes God is always beckoning just about all of us. I think he's doing it anyway. I think I think the problem is what people confuse by the hand of God is they confuse their own desires, what they want out of life. People like, if everything go well, then that must be God. If I get $1 million, it must be God. I get a record. And I found that's not to be the whole thing. Purpose sometimes, our purpose and his purpose ain't always the same thing sometimes, I think. And
right.
But I think that's why I think people are confused a lot of times. They think if everything is going well, that means that is God. Sometimes that don't mean that it ain't God. I heard you say earlier God had other plans. I don't think it's God's plan to take out a young lady, in her youth.
Right.
I don't think that's God, but I think God has the ability for something good to come out of that. He still can get something good out of it. And I think it was like we talk about what we were doing. You said it was good, clean fun. It's hard for me to say what's good, clean fun, because it wasn't as innocent as we thought it was, because we were still trying to hunt the ladies, and and so a lot of that stuff, it wasn't godly, it just wasn't. We just wasn't in the. We wasn't trying to be violent. So some people think some things are. If it ain't violent, then it ain't. It's good. But every good thing ain't a God thing sometimes. So I didn't want to cut you off from saying that. But I was just thinking. I think God has His hands on all people. God is always trying to beckon us. I think that we just we being our own way. We just being our own way sometimes. We got our ambitions and our own desires.
That's right. That's right. But you know, like I said, man, you know, when God got His hand on somebody's life, they gonna feel it. You can't help but feel it, man. You may not, and you know what's crazy. You may not even know it's God, but you man, listen. I got to a point in life where nothing I did, not making money, not doing shows, nothing was fulfilling. Nothing. When I say nothing, I'm talking about. I was like, man, what's wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? I used to think I was depressed. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't in the will of God, and that's why I was. That's why I began to feel like, you know, I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving something nice. I live in a decent house. Man, that none of that stuff fulfilled me. What fulfilled me is when I started going to church and getting into that Bible. You know what I'm saying? And figuring out who God was and what He was trying to do in my life. That was the only thing that fulfilled me.
I think that's more because what I don't want to do is send a mixed message to our listeners. But it's a lot of people that go to church and they in that Bible, so they say, and they're not fulfilled either, though. You know, so that's what a show like this is about. You know, because some people think it's this one thing and that one thing. You know, life. You don't. Sometimes we don't appreciate the sunny days if it's always sunny. Sometimes rain help you appreciate those sunny days. See, because you can have. I've heard it said it like this before. I heard it said like this: my worst day over here is better than my best day over there.
Okay.
Take a guy in prison. Take a guy in prison. The prettiest, sunniest day in prison ain't better than the stormiest, rainy day free. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I don't have. I don't want people to think that when you come to God, you come to church, you have no problems or everything just work out. Sometimes they don't. But I found that it's always better over here than over there. It's like I'd rather have a rainy day free than a sunny day in prison.
Yeah, no, I get it. I agree. Hey, this side is the best side, brother.
That's right.
This side is the best side. So anybody that say anything different, I gotta challenge you. And like you said, man, but listen, you know, just because you profess to love God don't necessarily mean that you know it. I know a lot of folks say that say that they love God, but they don't really know God, because you if you look at them, and ain't none of us perfect, but if you look at their lifestyles and how they living and how they talk and their walk, you can see clear evidence that God ain't leading those people. And I've been in church with the rest of them and the best of them. And a brick and mortar building don't make you a Christian. You know, church is inside you. You know what I'm saying? So all God wants is a willing person. You know, if you're willing, God would do the rest. That's what I found. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a willing heart, man, to me, if you got a willing heart, bro, you unstoppable. God could use you. God could use one person.
He can.
God could use one person, man, to change. God could use one person to change the whole nation.
He can. But now, willing and obedient. See, they're just willing, and sometimes our willingness we have to be willing to grow as well. Because some people, I know people that'll come from the street and they'll just start preaching, and they preaching from zeal, and they never get a good foundation, and then that's how they crash and burn as well. So, but I didn't want to get into just a lot of preaching. I just want to really talk about Christopher Holmes, because you're a very talented guy. You know, a lot of people don't. You know, it sometimes feel like a curse being talented, because you feel like I'm so talented, I don't know which road to go down being talented. You wrote a book. I still got your book on my coffee table. You wrote a book. Did you ever write any other book other than that one there?
That book, no, I haven't. And to be honest with you, that's probably one of the deepest books that I probably would ever write, because it was so much truth and honesty. Man, I bared my soul in that book. You know what I'm saying?
Tell us about the book.
Thing about it is, it was called True to Myself, Up Close and Personal Poetry. So, just because I was a man of God, yeah.
Can it still be bought? Where can it be bought?
It's on Amazon. Only place I know right now that it's still available on Amazon. You go and type in my name.
What's the title of it? And then go back and finish telling us about the book.
It's called True to Myself, Up Close and Personal Poetry.
Okay, now go ahead and finish telling me about the book.
Yeah, the book is a collection of poems about my life and what I went through, and even though and at that particular time I was actually licensed in ministry, but what I found out, a title don't save nobody. So I was a lot of time I was in a backslid state and stuff like that. So just because you got a title don't necessarily mean anything. You know what I'm saying? It's what's in your heart. The Bible said what's in your heart will come out. You know what I'm saying? So God showed me myself like real quick. Like, I'm walking around and praying and doing this and going to church, but church wasn't in me. So I fell into like a real deep depression. And I got some counseling, and my counselor said, have you ever thought about writing about how you feel? And I was like, no. So a strange thing happened one day. I picked up the pen and I didn't put it down. So I wrote it like I knew I could write songs. So most songs are just poetry set to music. But I picked that pen up, man, and I prayed, and I was releasing everything that I felt. If I felt suicidal, I wrote about it. If I felt like I wanted to be loved by somebody when I was alone and didn't have nobody, I wrote about it. You know what I'm saying? If I was depressed, I wrote about it. So yeah, it's there would never be. I would never write another book like that, because that book, most people that read it like, man, like, boy, you ain't leaving nothing out, did you? I was like, no. Why? You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be all the way real, because people need to see. And I think on the back of the book, I had if I'm not mistaken, I had my shirt on. I had my collar on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, on the picture on the back of the book. But I wanted people to know.
I think so. I think it was on the back of it.
Yeah, I wanted people to know, man, listen, just because I'm a man of God, like I went through a lot of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about from depression to suicidal thoughts to, couldn't keep a relationship.
Why do you think people think men of God are exempt from problems?
Because I think they've been trained to think that way. You know what I'm saying? But
who did the training? Who trained that?
Society. Because I used to put preachers on a pedestal, and but it wasn't until I crossed that line over to that realm where I had to go back and say, okay, Lord, I need you to forgive me for judging these men of God, because they wasn't perfect. Now that I'm on the other side, and I've backslidden and I've fornicated and stuff like that, man, a title don't save nobody. You know what I'm saying? So, and God was like, yeah, you just because you on this other side don't necessarily mean that you always walking with me. I was like, okay, I'll be the first one to raise my hand. You know what I'm saying? But matter of fact, I felt more pressure. I felt more pressure when I did give my life to God totally. That's when I felt the pressure was really on me, because, but from me studying, God said there ain't no temptation that should come upon you that I've not already made a way of escape for.
And that's the paradox. And see, that's what I would like to say. See, a lot of people like to talk about, there's two testimonies with God. They have the God that will forgive, and there's a God that can restore. But everybody forget there's a God also that's able to keep you from falling. And so what we do is we teach one extreme to the other. But like I've been with one woman since I've been married, man, since I was 19 years old. I don't have like a girl. I haven't had a girlfriend on the side of it. Now, some people, when I say that, they think you're lying. But this same God we serve is able to keep you from falling. But can I tell you something? But it's going to be, once we get to a place where we make our own mind up. I think a lot we've been told that God is going to do something for us that we know. God is not going to be disciplined for you. God is not going to do right for you. Now watch this right here. But the great part about this, though, what you were just saying, we have an advocate for the Father for folks that mess up.
Right.
And so we got two guys right here that's giving two sides of the testimony. Both of those sides is God. Both of those sides is how God would deal with people. God can restore and God can keep. But then once we get to a place, we have to make a decision. Do we want to be kept or do we want to keep being restored? And sometimes people think they can trick God, think they're going to just be living. God going to just keep restoring me. We'll play the Samson thing. You get ready to tear the ropes up and your hair cut off. So I want to say that because sometimes we talk about being real, we get a lot of people, amen, men of God, being real because they tell about their failures. But we need some more heroes. We need to tell about some of the successes that God gave us victory over. And so when I'm talking here, that was leading to the next question I was going to ask you. I remember I talked to you a few weeks ago and I was asking you about doing this interview. You told me, man, God is doing a lot of my life. God is doing a lot of my life. And I want you to tell us about where you at now, not just where you been. Tell us about your faith and your belief about God now, where you are now. What is God doing in your life right now?
Well, man, I mean, you know, number one, I'm in my right mind, and I want to share a brief testimony. So after I lost my daughter, right, I ended up moving to South Carolina. I said earlier that my wife and I were separated, and that was due to some infidelity on her part, and I thought I could work through it, and it just got worse, and I was like, you know what, you know, it's just best we go ahead and go our separate ways. And then after my daughter lost her life, I decided it's like God moved on my heart to forgive her and try to work, you know, our marriage out. So I ended up moving over here to try to keep the marriage together, because I do believe in marriage. You know, I do believe in the sanctity of marriage between a husband and a wife. And I was serious, and I still love my ex-wife. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in love with the things she was doing, you know. But as Jesus said, you know, Father, forgive them because they know not what they do. If people knew what they were doing, they wouldn't do it. So I moved here, and everything was cool. And then I found out, you know, that she was seeing another guy behind my back, and so, you know, and that was a lot to deal with and process, especially after I moved here from Alabama, you know, to try to keep the marriage together, and then still found out she was cheating. So I mean, you know, at that point in time, it was a lot of stuff. And this was, and mind you, this was after, and within that, after I moved here, so that my daughter's funeral was first. My best friend and his wife was at my daughter's funeral. Not even a month and a half, about 2 months passed by. My best friend lost his wife of 21 years. She had cancer, and then she got COVID, and then went in the hospital, bro. Never came back out. So that's one funeral we went to. And then right after that, my ex-wife had a good friend. Her husband went to the store right around the street from where they lived at. See, that's why the Bible said, be ye ready at all times, because you don't know. Went right around the street to his favorite little corner store to pick some things up, and didn't make it home. Got hit by a car and died at the scene. Okay, so that's a funeral we went to. About a month after that, I get a call from my from my best friend saying he was on his way to Alabama. His brother, who I know you remember Miss I don't know if you probably remember Miss because we had his funeral, Tyrone. Miss I can't think of they mama name, man. Miss I can't think of her name right now, but she went to Macedonia, your church. And matter of fact, I think they had her funeral. They had her funeral there too. So he called me. My best friend called me. So he had just lost his wife 2 months prior. 2 months after that, his brother had a massive stroke. He worked over there at Reinhardt Toyota in Montgomery. Had a massive stroke right there on the showroom floor, man, and collapsed. Went into the hospital, did not come back out. So that's three. That's 1, 2, 3. 4 funerals in less 2 months apart. And you would have thought that going to that many funerals the first one being my daughter. You would have thought that would be enough to change somebody's ways, but here's the thing: whatever you have and harbor in your heart, that's who you are. And then God began to move on my heart concerning my ex-wife, and God said to me through my counselor, you have to start looking at your wife for who she is, and not necessarily what you want her to be. Because God knew I loved that woman, and I wanted to stay with her, but for whatever reason, God allowed us to meet and for us to have that short time together, because we weren't even together 2 years. You know what I'm saying? But you can't. I'm still learning that you can't control what other people do towards you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
So, and I still pray for her. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a lot to get to that point where I could pray for her, because I had so much anger and bitterness in my heart. You know, and then I got here, man, and God led me to a church, and that's when then I started going through counseling. So a lot of I saw God begin to move, and then He began to really change the way the way I was feeling about my ex. You know what I'm saying? And I started to, you know, just let God, you know, be in control, even of that situation, because it's hard to say, oh, you know, I'm gonna let God handle it. No, because a lot of times we want to step in there and do it our way. But when I started really stepping back and letting God handle that situation with her, that's when it began to get better. But you know, you gotta love people, man, the way God loves us, and that ain't always an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's necessary.
Right.
So
right.
yeah. But
are you back in ministry?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm in school right now, so I know I have a call on my life to pastor. So I've taken that seriously, and
God bless you.
I got to. Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, I would say.
I mean, we need good pastors.
But I would say this, Marcus. You know, I laugh and joke about a lot of things, but on that end, I always knew I had a call on my life to pastor. I always knew it. But who wakes up? I never been a dude to wake up and say, "Oh, let me pastor the church." No, that ain't no. I got better things to do in my life, God. And I told him, I said, God, bro, you listening? You got your phone on? Let's get on FaceTime or something. Like, hey man, this your boy C Holmes. I don't want to pastor no church, bro. I don't want to do this. Matter of fact, let me put my eyes on so I can see. I was like, God, hey. I was like, hey, bro, I don't want to do this, bro. I do not want to pastor. And God looked right back at me just like I'm looking at this camera. He said, it ain't about what you want to do, Negro. Hey, but bro, I ain't wake up and say I always wanted to pastor a church, because pastors go through hell. Pastor will put enough oil on you for you to fry a pan of chicken, and them Negroes will go right back out there and do the same thing that they was doing before the pastor prayed for them. Okay,
and
so
talk terrible about
it. Hey, look, I done seen pastors help people that went and gamble away all their money, okay, at the casino, and then they come to the church, want the church to help them. The church help them, and then they walk away. He ain't give me nothing but $100. The church ain't give me nothing but $100. It ain't my fault that you went out there and gambled away your rent money. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then they get mad at the pastor. This is a place of worship, but we have to have understanding in church things and how we help people too. You know what I'm saying? Because some people go out there and squander away their money and think the church is going to help them. No, even the church has to use wisdom and how they help people.
I just did a teaching. I just did a teaching about that, church and money. So a lot of people think the church's job is to be outreach. That's the main purpose of the church, outreach, you know, to the community. And really, they don't realize that that's not the church's mission. The church's mission, if you do outreach, is outreach, but the church's responsibility is to the community that's within that body, not the church, not the community that's there. And I gave scripture, I showed them that. But a lot of times I don't know how we get taught so incorrectly, and people think the church is a welfare system, and it was never designed to be that. Even though, you know, because we may have not had a lot of money in Black community, and the church was trying to be all things to all people, and people started thinking that was the purpose of the church. But we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. But I want to ask you right here, What are you? What can we expect? And what before I ask you that about your plans in the future? I know you're a comedian. Like I don't tell Bible jokes. Why the Bible cross the road? I'm a comedian. I tell jokes, but I try and stay within my real character, my real person. I'm not gonna cross the line. And even if I tell like a sex joke, I'm gonna tell it in the context of marriage. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a why the chicken crossed the road. I mean, why the Bible crossed the road kind of comedian. I'm funny. I try and be funny. I want to tell jokes. So that's what I was asking with you. Before we ask you what your plans in the future, because hopefully one day we'll get to do it, maybe do a show together. I think you enjoy it. I think we'll get to do that. But what kind of comedian are you now? I see you use your sense of humor when you was talking. How do you see comedy and not conflicting with your faith?
Well, because I mean, I mostly do. Mostly I do clean comedy now.
Yeah, I'm only clean. Wait. See, I found something out now. You know what clean comedy is? People think clean comedy is not cussing. Do you know, man, I've got mature audience ratings, rated R. Do you know what blue humor is? If you talk about potty humor, going to the bathroom, if you talk sex jokes, fart jokes, anything like that, that's blue humor. That's considered dirty comedy. So I tell people, I'm a Christian man, but I'm a dirty comic because I'm gonna tell a fart joke. You know, I'm gonna tell. I'll tell a doodle joke in a minute, man. But I am a moral comic. I'm a Christian comic.
Right.
I don't do Christian comedy, but I'm a Christian man. So if I walk down the street, I do Christian walking down the street. But go ahead. How do you reconcile your comedy with your faith? Well, because I know I went straight into clean comedy. If you clean, I might not want to do comedy with you. I'm gonna say something that ain't gonna. I might tell.
When I say clean, I'm talking about no cursing. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Clean. But right. I'm gonna talk about farting, and I'm gonna talk about I'm right there with you. I'm a comedian for real. So I mean, when I say clean,
moral, though.
Yeah.
You stick when I say clean comedy,
yes. No, I'm talking about, God was like, okay, you done did enough of that blue stuff, like real blue, like cussing. So no, I don't do that. I don't do that no more. And the thing about it is, the enemy will come and test your faith too. And right, let me tell you something, man. Right when I made up in my mind not to do any dirty shows like cussing and just acting stupid like that, and I was like, okay, God, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Right when I did that, Marcus, let me tell you how the enemy would try to make a mockery of what God put in your heart to do. Right after that, I got contacted. My manager got contacted by Country Wayne artist. I mean, the comedian. Okay, not only him, but it was Earthquake and some other people. Because I didn't even know my manager he recorded some stuff that I did, and they edited it, and they started sending it. Well, they wanted me to go on a tour with it was right before COVID hit, and so my manager like, cool. They sent the contracts and everything. It's supposed to be like a 15 city tour, and I was going to be getting like $1,500 a show. So I mean, but see, here's the thing though. God said, well, what about what you told me? What about the promise you made me? And I went to my manager, and I found that ironic because see that the enemy thought he had me. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, no. I said, no. $1,500 times 15 shows. That's a lot of money that I could have used. But at what price? There's a price for it. And see, the enemy wanted me to take that money to throw back up in God's face. You know what I'm saying? And I had more sense than that. You know what I'm saying? Man, look, they could come off me $50,000 to do a show right now. I'm not for sale. You know what I'm saying? Right. And when I say I do clean comedy, that's what I mean. Because I want the blessings of God in my life for real. I don't like I laugh and play about a lot of things, but I'm 54 years old, so when I became a man, I had to put away childish things. You know what I'm saying? So all the stuff that God is getting ready to do in my life, yes, he's prepared me for ministry. Yes, he prepared me for, you know, one day to lead and pastor a church. And I'm welcoming it. I'm gonna have fun doing it. It ain't gonna always be easy, but what in life is, you know what I'm saying? But as when my number is called, bro, I want to be known for what my purpose was, and that's to be in church leadership in a pastoral position to add value and enrich the lives of other people, God's people. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we often get lost in the sauce, and there's so many people walking around here, so many souls walking around, they don't even know what their purpose is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna
think their purpose is something they saw on TV.
Yeah, but you know what's sad? You know what's even sad, Marcus, is when you got people right there in the church saying amen every Sunday, and they don't even know what their spiritual purpose is for being on this earth. They real purpose.
Well, let me make some, Chris. If a vision impaired man is leading the church, is that equivalent to the blind leading the blind?
You know what? No, because he ain't fully blind.
I'll just
because he ain't fully blind. Look, if you had said Stevie Wonder, then you've been correct. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, man.
Hey,
we got to do something together one day.
Mark,
yeah.
Hey, Marcus, that reminds me of a joke. I said, if a blind man dropped his wallet, am I wrong for picking it up? After all, I did point to it. I pointed to it. You know. Hey, Marcus, I pointed at it.
Man, I couldn't work that out where you could probably be there, but I'm doing another one of my comedy shows the day before Father's Day, the 15th of June. And the way I do my shows is I don't put out the place because I don't let people buy at the door. When they buy their ticket, the address is on the ticket. The address on the ticket. I do like 100-seater show. We do dinner shows. And we're gonna be doing one. We're gonna be doing one again. Then, but man, one day it's me and my brother. My brother, he usually open for me, but we got to do something together one day. I think, and we also need to talk about, you know, like they talk about $1,500. We need to talk about. I have a idea and a vision of how what I'm putting together as far as doing comedy. That way, it ain't based off of what somebody else is doing. I'm not trying to be a star. I don't have want to be a star bone in my body, but it's certain things I want to do.
No more, I don't.
Right. So the stuff I do, I'm purposeful with it. I love being a communicator. I consider myself a communicator. I'm a versatile communicator. I communicate in any way I can, and as always, I believe I have something to say, and I believe I want to, and I'm an inspirational messenger, not a motivational messenger. So I think it's something I can always add to it. And those gifts you have from your book, from all the stuff you've done, you look back over, because what we send a lot less of today is talent, man. And you one of the guys that are very, very talented across the board. And so we got a lot of people doing things, but they're not really exceptional at nothing. They're not really exceptional in any one area. And I don't want to act like I'm so great or nothing, but I remember times where you had to be good at something. And so I know you one of those guys. You one of those guys. Before we leave, can you tell me about any plans you have for the future? I heard you about want to pastor, you're doing other things. Do you have any close future goals that you want to do? Something you got planned in the future in your life before we leave?
Man, listen, the pastor of church. to do what God is putting on my heart to do. I'll be 55 years old this year if God let me see October. So I mean, man,
you're getting old, man. You're getting old.
I am. I just got my AARP card in the mail the other day, so that's solidified.
They send you that at 50. They send you that at 50.
Yeah. So I qualify for the senior citizen discount now. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God for that. Praise God.
Speed limit 55. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay.
Yes. So, but no, bro, real talk. I'm looking forward to what God is getting ready to do in my life for His leadership and what He's. You know, I'm not even in the picture no more, man. I faded to black, and I'm just letting God lead me. And I will ask you and anybody else that watch this video to be in prayer for me that God would put the right woman in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I asked, my prayer changed. I said, God, don't send me. I said, send me what I need and not necessarily what I want. Because I've had plenty of what I wanted, but it wasn't what I needed. You feel me? So even in the area of a mate, I got 2 mentors, and both of them are older black women. And they said the woman that God has for you this next time around, she's going to be built for this. She's going to be built to be in ministry. She's going to be a real helpmate, you know, and for what God has called you to do. So, you know, I'm even believing God to show out in that area. And I told God, I said, you know, send me what I need and not necessarily what I want. I said, but God, I don't want her to be ugly, and I want her to be a little fine. So, you know, you got to be specific.
How come you can't want what you need?
Hey, mother, I ain't finna.
I want a boogerilla. A boogerilla.
I don't want a boogerilla. Now, I do not receive that, Mr. Brown.
I love you, Quinn.
Hey,
give me my leg.
Hey, Mark. Already, I had a big old girl one time, and I had prayed. I said, God, hold
on. We not finna offend the scale, the scale enhanced women. Let's don't do that, Chris.
I asked God to send me a woman, and He sent me a woman. And this how she talked. She said, "You want me to rub your back?" So you know I'm stupid. I thought, hey, Marcus, I started talking like her. She said, "You want me to rub your back?" I said, "Yeah, I want you to rub my back." She said, "How that feel?" I said, "That feel good." She said, "When you get up in the morning," she said, when you get up in the morning, I'm gonna fix you a big old breakfast. I said, "Okay, because I'm gonna eat a big old breakfast."
Chris, this is the woman, man. She a big old woman too, man, about 800 pounds. To my son, how you doing? Oh, I'm your biggest fan. I said, cut me. It was a woman 50 pounds heavy. You told me that last week. You might be my widest fan, but you ain't my biggest fan.
Yeah, you might be my widest.
Let me stop that, man. See, but it won't mean no harm. Look, y'all mean no harm because I'm not, you know, I tell all kinds of jokes. I joke on little people, big people. I mean, short people. You know what I'm saying? But I don't joke on people. Now, that's something that we do at our show too. You know, we don't joke the audience. We don't allow heckling. Right. We don't joke the audience. But we will talk about anything, anybody, not any person, but any type of person, cause funny is in the eye of the beholder, the ear of the beholder, and the heart of the beholder. Man, I look forward, man. I like to see, man. You know, God led on your heart, man. Write other books, you know, because we live in a time now where that's one of the greatest places to archive something. I got 2 books out myself. One called The Psychology. Crossing That Line, The Psychology of Poor People, and that's both of those on Amazon too. And I got my book I just came out with either end of last year, early this year. It's called How to Stop Being Poor Before Trying to Get Rich. And those books are really, to me, they're really good. They say things, but not only they say things, it archives something. Because if you had a cassette tape or a CD, that stuff is gone now. But if you had wrote a book 20 years ago, like the book that's still on my coffee table, that book is still there. You capture that moment, you capture that message, and books last so long. We still got the Bible. We still got the Bible. You get to speak. It ain't got to have no special player, man. So,
that's right,
man. I pray, man, you get all that you desire, man. I pray that God use you if that's what you want to. If that's what you want to pastor, I pray God do what we need. Excuse me. We need good pastors. We need good men of God. And man, that's the Bible says if a man desires the office of a bishop, that was saying pastor. he desired good work. Man, I'm telling you something, man, that's a great thing. Because there's some guys desire to be a gangster. There's some guys desire to be a pimp. And I think that's a great thing, man. Use your influence, man, to the best of your ability, man, to make the kingdom of God look good. You know what I'm saying? But man, man,
yes, sir.
It's been a pleasure, man, talking to you today. And we go back a long way, man. I mean, we probably can tell stories. People look at us different.
Yeah. Trust me, they would.
Yeah, they would. But look where we are now. Look where we ain't at Nero's, and it's Thursday night. I know Thursday night was a good night to be at Nero's with.
What? Yes.
But
we was all up in there on Thursday night.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But look, man.
Yes, sir.
Look, man. Look, good to have you here, man. I really enjoyed the conversation, man. I hope we can come back and do it again, and we'll be talking about something that you're about to do, your new book or your new comedy show, or something that you're doing. If you ever come into town, man, let me know, man. I like to get up with you, man. We can go kill a fatted cow, kill a fatted cow.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm working on right now, man. I'm working. I don't know when I'm gonna preach it, but I'm working on a sermon right now, and it's called "The Invisible Battle for Your Mind." Okay. Because he that controls the mind controls the man. So I mean, there's an invisible battle between good and evil going on. You probably you can't see it, but you can feel it in your flesh. You can't see it, but you can feel it. So and there is a physical battle going on for the mind of man.
Right, so, right, man.
I'm working on it right now.
And it sounds like a great book too. Yeah,
well,
some people read that book I know what I'm saying, but some people read that book that may not come to their church service, right? But
you're right.
So
you're right.
So man. Yeah, sounds awesome, man. Look, man, it's been great, man. It's been great. This has been Channel 13. Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, I say this all the time so people know. So you'll know this as well. Channel 13 is gonna be definitely gonna have it on Facebook, of course. It's gonna be on YouTube. But it's also this is also a podcast. So it's gonna be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Audible. That's where I have it right now. And we hope that all the listeners, we hope that you will watch it, you will share it, and we hope you go out and pick up Chris's book. If it's still out there for sale, what's the name of that book again?
True to Myself.
True to Myself by Christopher Holmes. True to Myself by Christopher Holmes on Amazon. Go look it up. Y'all get that book. He ought to, just from watching this, y'all buy a few hundred of them. That'll bless him. That'll encourage him. That would encourage him to do more of what he's doing. But also, man, look, and I watch your funny stuff that you put on Facebook. You be saying your funny stuff. I write all my funny stuff down. I don't share all my funny stuff no more. I write it down. I learn how to write them all down. And I put them in the But look, man, but you can't run out of fun. And you always had that sense of humor. Always had it, man. But again, I'm Marcus V. Brown. This is Christopher Holmes. He was our guest today. Really enjoyed him. This is Channel 13. Channel 13. Glad you came here today, Chris, man. Glad we had this interview. Anything you want to say before we leave?
No, man. I appreciate you having me on, man, and I've enjoyed myself. Let's do it again soon.
We're going to do it again. All right, man. We out of here. Channel 13. See y'all next time.
My name is Marcus, man. Don't forget the V in the brown. They